Okay, we're holding by volume 1. Anyone remember what we learned last week? What we're holding? Fine. So last week we started with a very interesting topic. Midos, a person should have the midot, the character traits that a person should have. And before the class, we actually started off with a thought that there's two ways to approach certain halachas. Sometimes, there's so much to do, this, that, you can feel a little bit overwhelmed, Hashem is in every single part of our lives. Sometimes a person can take it in a very overwhelming way. There's an incredible letter from the Rebbe that explains like this. The Rebbe told many people to learn Perek Mem Aleph, the 41st chapter of Tanya. And over there it says, V'hinei Hashem nitzav alav, that Hashem is standing over you. And there's two approaches of how we can look at this line in Tanya. Number one, the first approach is, you're afraid, you know what I mean? I don't have my life anymore. Hashem is always watching me. Everything, you know what I mean? Every little thing has to be perfect. That's one approach, but not necessarily is this the best approach to take. Because the other approach which the Rebbe brings, and we'll explain, this has a connection to do with the halachas that we're learning, is on the contrary, how lucky you are that Hashem himself, with all the greatness, the King of all kings, cares about you so much that he's always watching you. Right? When it comes to all the mitzvahs that we have to do, what's the connection to what we're learning? Even our character traits, Hashem loves every single Jew so much that it matters to Hashem, even a Jew's character traits. They should be according to halacha, according to the Jewish law. So we're holding chapter 29, Siman Chavtes, page 196. Today I have the same print, so I actually know the page. One, yeah.
Okay.
There's one on the So last week, anyone remember what we learned? It was Thursday, it wasn't Tuesday. That we learned these halachas. It's okay, we'll do it. That's fine, it's very important to review. No, the midot. We switched topics to make it a little bit more interesting. Food, almost the midot, the character trait that a person should have. Oh yeah, very good, exactly. So as we mentioned last week, the first halacha discusses that in this world, every single person, you're going to have two complete opposite character traits. From one extreme to the other extreme. You can have somebody who is super friendly, an extrovert, whatever they're called. Yeah, the people that are really out there, and you can have the person right beside them, which is completely an introvert, which is completely to themselves. You can have somebody who's completely kind to people, and right beside them, you can have a person which is completely the opposite. Every single person, when it comes to every single character trait, you can have one extreme literally to the next extreme. So we explained last week, last Thursday, that the derech of Torah in general, the way of Torah is to go in the middle ground, not to be extreme on one side and not to be extreme on the other side. The derech of Torah, the way of Torah, is to take the derech hayeshara, which is the kav hantzai, the middle ground. So you can't be too extreme one way, you can't be too extreme the other way. You have to go in the middle.
How do we know we're not extreme in this?
Oh, very good question. We'll see in a second. Very good. a practical example. Let's bring Brad over here. You know what? Let's read Basil's sign. It's going to answer your question. It's important to read it again.
The food, not to live only holy or not.
No. In physicality, right here it says. Let's read halacha beis together inside. Haderech hateva v'hayasher hu. The proper and the straight way to go is sheyagel ha'adam es atzme leleches b'derech emtzai. A person should accustom themselves in the middle path. What does that mean? This is the answer to your question. Lo yisava leledvarim shaguf tzarech lehem v'yav shalichi ezelasan. Ki inyan shenema tzadik echel l'seva nafshe. You can have two extremes. You can have somebody who all they want is food. They'll spend all their money on food, they'll whatever it is. Or you can have the exact opposite. You can have somebody who stays away from food. If I eat too much, it's going to be this and that. Literally, what we just mentioned are two complete opposites. What are we saying over here? What is the proper derech? What is the proper way? The middle ground. Don't starve yourself. You eat what you need. So you're not taking one extreme of food, so to speak. You're not taking the other extreme of starving yourself. Believe it or not, such a thing exists. You're taking the middle ground. The middle ground is you have to eat to stay healthy. You have to eat to stay alive. You're not overdoing it and you're not underdoing it. You're doing the proper derech. You're going the proper way to live. Another example. Another example is it's not healthy to be not an alcoholic. That's for sure not healthy. A workaholic. If every single moment you're working, and it takes over your life just to make a few more dollars, this is also not a healthy thing. And obviously, you can't be on the other extreme, not to work at all. You have to go in the derech hamtzai. The middle ground is you work in a way that you are able to provide for yourself and for your family, and obviously to have left over, but not in a way where it takes over your life completely, and not in a way where you don't work at all. It's a middle ground. So that's another example. Another example is you should not hold back from helping others completely. I made my money, it's mine. And you can't go the other direction either. You can't just spend all your money to help another person. Rather, you go on the middle ground to help other Jews, other people, according to your means. And this includes to loan, not just to give, but also to give a loan. You can't give a loan which is going to affect you, which is going to hurt you, but also not to give, not to help somebody at all is also not a proper thing. The proper thing is to give according to your ability. This is the proper thing. And you have the opposite, another example that's brought to you can't be jumping around laughing the whole day like a clown. That's too extreme. On the other hand, you can't be a depressed person. You go in the middle ground, you're happy with life, so you don't overdo it. You don't, literally jumping up and down, and if it happens one day or two, it's not the end of the world. But in general, you know what I mean? You go in the middle derech, you're a happy person, so obviously not depressed, but you're not happy to the extent where it changes from happiness to halilus, to lightheadedness. You go in the middle derech. So too is it by most other traits, character traits, or any other traits. The person who goes in the middle ground, they are called a wise person, a chacham, because it takes wisdom. Sometimes it's naturally one person can lead to one extreme or to the other extreme. And if they use their wisdom to, balance things out, this is already an incredible thing. This is what it says over here, they're called a chacham, they're called a wise person. Now, we mentioned last week there are two exceptions to this rule. Anyone remember what they are? Exactly. Kas and gava, exactly. Kas is anger, huh? There's two exceptions that we don't take the middle ground, but we stay away completely from them. One of them is gava, haughtiness, to be full of oneself. I am this, I am that. Wow, look at me. That's one thing, which is a no-no. We don't take even the smallest amount of that. And the other one is kas, which is anger. Anger is also a very unhealthy trait, and we're going to read inside these are very, very important things, and these are literally it's prevalent in one's day-to-day life. You know, you can have things happen on a daily basis that really a person theoretically may have the right to get upset. Nevertheless, a person has to overcome that, put it on the side, and know that this too also came from Hashem, and it's there to help us in the long run. Okay, we'll read inside. Gimel. First, we're going to be dealing with haughtiness. Hagaiva himida rama oid. Gaiva, to be full of oneself, is a mida rama oid, is a very, very bad character trait. So not only is it a very bad character trait, but also la'adam linhigba afilu b'muat. One cannot have haughtiness even a little bit. So what do they do? What is the proper thing to do? Over here, we do say to go to the other extreme. A person should be humble in spirit. They should be low, you know, if somebody, we'll see. Yeah, a person like the Chachamim told us that a person should be very, very humble and low-spirited. Low-spirited doesn't mean, shval ruach doesn't mean that you look at yourself as a nothing, you're this, you're that. That's not what it means. By Moshe Rabbeinu, what do we see? The Torah called him the most humble man on earth. Does that mean he went around like, you know, crouched down and, I'm a loser? No, that's not what it means. It means like this. The Rebbe told many people by dollars, there's a compliment given to a certain person, and I'm not, this is called anivos shel sheker, where this is called fake anava, fake, no, anava, how? Humble, fake humbleness. It's not real. Why? Because anava, to be shal ruach, to be low, it doesn't mean that you don't realize who you are and your true values. That's fakeness. Tzenua. It's the opposite. You recognize yourself, and you realize, and you think to yourself that really, if Hashem would have given to somebody else what I have, I believe they would have been able to do better than me. What's the difference? You're not fooling yourself. You know exactly who you are. If you're good at something, you recognize it. You're not putting on a show, I'm a good for nothing. That's fakeness, that's nothing. You realize who you are, and you know the values that Hashem gave you. So, how do you practice to be humble? How do you practice to be shval ruach? The answer is, really, with what Hashem gave me, I can be doing so much better. You know, with this tremendous talent that I have, if I really put more effort to it, I could actually attain better. I could be doing more. So I'm not holding where I really should be. That's a proper thing. There's once a shliach. Today is a shliach. Back then, when he was still a bacher, he came to the Chiddush by the Rebbe. And he told the Rebbe that he sees by himself, he has a big problem with gaiva. He was an honest person. Yeah, what it says over here, not to have. He didn't fool himself. He realized that he feels that he's better than everyone else. And it happens to be, he is a very talented person. He really is a very talented person. I'm not mistaken what the Rebbe told him was, first of all, to think Perek Mem Aleph, to think this chapter 41 of Tanya, and that's going to remind you a little bit that as great as a person may be, Hashem is always there and He's always watching you. And if you compare yourself, you'll see you're not too big. That's number one. And number two, I believe what the Rebbe told him was, if you truly believe you're better, so you should actually be better, not just think it. Meaning you have to use out. The Rebbe didn't say that you're not better. The Rebbe didn't say that you're not, all of your values that you have, they're not. That's not, because that's not the answer. The answer is you do have these values, and you do have these special character traits that Hashem gave you, these special talents. If you really want to, be special, so to speak, you have to use out what Hashem gave you. So that's one thing. So here, in the Kitzur Shulchan Aruch, we're going to be focusing on a few other character traits that help us be humble and to have this midah of to be shval ruach. So how can somebody accustom themselves to truly be humble, to be low-spirited, and not to show off, so to speak, on a daily basis, whatever it is? Number one, kol dvarecha yihiu benachas. You're not screaming at anyone, I know better. You say everything benachas. Benachas means in a soft tone. Reish chakafuf, you're not holding yourself, your head up to everyone else. You're a little bit, you put yourself in necha yabit lamata. You look down, you don't hold yourself with a high stature. V'libcha lamayla, and your heart should be lamayla, meaning to Shemayim, to Hashem. And how do you look at another person? This is very, very important. When you look at another person, you have to look at them that they're truly greater than you. Why? How is this possible? So if he's a greater scholar than you, so regardless, you have an obligation to show them honor. Somebody who's not only in knowledge of Torah greater than you have to respect them, but is also brought down. Somebody who's materially has more richness to them, this is also something to respect. And it's very important. Why is that? How can it be? And it says over here like this. If they have it, it means they did something that they deserve, that Hashem gave it to them. So in this schos that they have, this merit, we don't even know what it is. And it could be that the way they're living their life right now is not necessarily what earned them this bracha of wealth. But at the end of the day, the very fact that Hashem gave it to them, that means that they merited it. They have a schos, a tremendous schos that they deserved literally this bracha. So therefore, for this schos itself, for this merit that they have, this is also worthy to show honor, not because they have money and you want to be nice, and that's not what we're talking about over here. We're talking about somebody who thinks a little bit deeper and is able to see a little bit beyond just the external glamour, whatever it's called. You see that truly there's much more going on over here, that they are befitting for this blessing, even though we don't know what it is. But that's the reality. If they have it, it means that they have a special schos that we don't have. It doesn't mean you can't get it, you can also get it. But this itself, the fact that they have this merit, it's worthy of respecting them. Now, what do you do about somebody from the other extreme? What happens if they're lower than you in their knowledge, or they're lower than you in their wealth? Very simple. So how do you feel humble to another person of such a stature? You should think that they're greater than you, they're more righteous than you. Why? What do we just read? You may think, look, I spent so many more hours learning, I am much more wise than them. Also wrong. Because on the other hand, with that, they can also have a level that they're more righteous than you. Why? Somebody who doesn't know any better, and they went ahead and they did something wrong. It's shogeg. You who learned, you who know better, and you still did it, you're not the shogeg. You're amazed. You did it on purpose. You knew better, and you still did it. Right? So this is how we have to approach life. Any single person that we meet in life doesn't make a difference.
It means he doesn't know.
He doesn't know. They don't know. And if they do an avera, they're considered somebody who did it by accident because they didn't know any better. But somebody who learned and knows better and still did it, this is much worse. Right? So you have two extremes, yeah?
In the Geret Ramban, it says that.
Oh yeah, very good, yeah.
That's why people don't want to.
Right. Sorry?
That's why people don't want to learn,
Because they'll be shogeg.
because then they have to, right?
It's not an answer, no. A Jew has a mitzvah to know how to be a Jew. And it's what we mentioned earlier. You can look at it in one perspective, it's a burden. The more I learn, the more I have to do, the more, I can't do this anymore. That's not the right approach. A mitzvah is there. Mitzvah comes from the word tzavsa v'chibur, a connection. If you look at every halacha, not in a way of a burden, but in a way, if you want to connect to Hashem, this is your channel. You don't feel that it's too much anymore, because imagine, today we don't have kings, real kings, but imagine there was a king that said, I'm choosing you, you are special, you're not like any other person in the kingdom, and I'm giving you a list of things. You do these things, you'll be connected to me, and I'll give you special privileges in my kingdom. He's going to look at it as a burden. He's going to be the happiest person in the world. So lahavdil, when it comes to Hashem, a Jew was chosen by Hashem himself to be connected to Hashem. And every mitzvah that Hashem gives, if you look at it as a connection to Hashem himself, the greatest thing you can have in this physical world is to connect it to the creator of everything, to your Father, to Hashem. It's not a burden. It's such a merit, it's such a schus that you have, that you are chosen, and you're so lucky that you're able to follow through with every mitzvah. Words can't even explain how special it is. So no, you should learn, you have to learn. It's important, because you can get away with, I don't know any better, I don't know any better, but at the same time, you're also missing in the aspect of connecting. Dalet, the fourth halacha, the second attribute that we take to the complete opposite extreme. So we just mentioned by Gaiva, you have to be humble, low-spirited, and it doesn't mean, as we mentioned, that you look at yourself as a nothing. You look and you know exactly who you are. If you learn very well, if you're talented in other areas, this is special that Hashem gave you. Humbleness means that you know the very fact that you have these special talents, you can really do better. That's humbleness. It doesn't mean that you don't recognize who you are. A real person knows who they are, and they know that they can really do better with the strengths that they have. Daled, v'chein hakas, anger. Also, it's a very bad midah. And the same thing, it's worthy for a person to distance themselves from this attribute a lot. So what should you do? You should accustom yourself not to get upset, not to get mad, even on something that's really, it's befitting to get mad. Why? We'll see in a second. So what happens if it's in a situation where say, let's say it's Hashem, you're going to have families, and the kids are doing things which are not safe. They go to a fight amongst themselves, or they're doing something which is completely not safe, and you have to put your foot down to show this is completely unacceptable, but you're not allowed to get angry. So what do? Very simple. Yara atzmei bifneihem shukayas kedei liyasram. Utedaitem yeshevas b'nei levin atzmei. You yourself should be completely neutral. You're not upset. But what you show the kids or the other members of the house, you have to set the boundaries. You put your foot down, you show as if you're upset, but you yourself cannot get upset. You yourself cannot get mad. There's discipline. You have to do it because there's a line that children cannot cross. Things that are not safe or words that should not be said are completely off the chart. You're not allowed to say it. And you have to be strict about it. But as a person, that's only what you're showing. What you're feeling, you're not allowed to get angry. It's tough. It's very hard. And it takes a lot of practice. But with practice, you can do it. Yeah, Amar Lei Eliyahu Rabbi Yehuda, Achod Rav Salach Hasidah. Eliyahu said to Rabbi Yehuda, the brother of Rav Salach Hasidah, it's a name, Leisitach V'Leisechte. If you don't get angry, you won't come to do Averos. Shemetecha Kas at the Bali Dechet. Why? Oh, we'll see in a second. Further, more, the Chachamim said, Kol hakayes ki'ilu eved avodah zarah. Whoever gets upset, it's as if literally they serve idols. V'chal me'ina gehenim sheltim bay, and all types of gehenim affect them. They are afflicted upon this person. Rachman Islam. Shenemer v'haser kas milibecha v'haver ra mibsarecha. Like the pasuk tells us, if you remove the anger from your heart, then the bad goes away from the person. And we know that Ra is referring to Gehenim. Shenemar, how do we know that? Also for a Rasha, a wicked person, which is referring to Gehenim. And we'll explain in just a second what this means. And those who constantly get angry, their life is not a life. Yeah, does that make sense? Somebody who's constantly upset, angry, you bump into them, every little thing, they blow up. That's not a life. Somebody who's living with that. Therefore, the Chachamim literally commanded Sivu to distance yourself from anger, to such a level, you should distance yourself from anger that you shouldn't even get upset at things that really you should get upset about. Yeah, and this is the derech of the righteous, that they're nice. If they get somebody says something not nice to them, they take it. They never answer. They're quiet. Somebody insulted. I'm not answering. So, no problem. You can say whatever you want. Everything they do, it's with love to Hashem, and they're happy. If something that happens, they're happy because at the end of the day, it's coming from Hashem, and there's a greater good over here that we may not see. But if it's coming from Hashem, from the Eibishter, there's nothing to worry about. Now, I just want to expound a little bit on this. The Chachamim said that somebody who gets upset, it's as if they serve Avodah Zarah. It's very extreme. So I mentioned last week, how could it be? Anger and Avodah Zarah, it's not like you're breaking Shabbat, you're doing something, you're just getting upset. So what's the answer? How could it be that it's so severe to get upset, to get angry? The answer is very simple. The answer is, if you would have believed and if you would have known that everything that happened, even this thing that made you upset, that made you angry, is coming from Hashem, you wouldn't have got upset. You would not have got mad. if you accepted the fact that it's a kapara or whatever it is, Hashem is sending it to you, but it's coming from Hashem, that would not make a person mad because they know ultimately it's for their own good. You know, there's a famous mashal parable that the king's children, they got dirty, they're playing outside in the mud, and you're scrubbing them down when they came back home. It hurts. It's not so comfortable to be scrubbed, you know. They got such a mess. There's so much to clean. You have to scrub hard to make sure all the dirt comes off. It's not always the most pleasant feeling. But come on, scrubbing the kids who got dirty, this is for their own good. There's no other way around it. You're cleaning them for their own sake. You can't live with a dirty, you know. It's the same thing. When something happens to us, even if our good friend hurt us, at the end of the day, this feeling that we have, it's ultimately from Hashem to help us in the long run.
In what?
In the long run, it cleans, it fixes something that happened to us that we did previously, and this fixes it. And if somebody doesn't look at it like this, they don't believe that it's coming from Hashem, that's why it's compared to Avodah Zarah. You believe that there's other forces in the world that can get you. And that's not true, because everything comes from the Eibishter. Hey, the fifth halacha, la'elam yarba adam b'shtika. Oh, this is very hard. This is already quite a level. A person should always try to yarba adam b'shtika. They should always try to be on the quieter side. And to only speak divrei Torah, or to speak things that are only necessary for their life. We'll see in a second. We'll explain that this is not, it's not, yeah. Today, some men are really women also, so you don't have to worry. I don't mean in a physical sense. I mean that, you know, they're so not doing what they're supposed, you know, they,
In yeshivas?
in the yeshivas, they talk, yeah, instead of learning, they, yeah. In some sense, yeah. So you see, you know, yeah, exactly. So you have a bunch of people that should be sitting, learning. Huh?
I cannot say this, right?
Which part? Yeah, you know, you have some people that are supposed to be doing one thing, but they're not. And even what somebody needs for their own, for whatever they need for their own body, you shouldn't say too much. This is a very, very extreme level. You don't have to. This is an encouragement, a good thing, but not everyone should jump to this level. You have to live a normal life. You have to have friends. You have to speak. You have to be normal. Okay, B'ezrat Hashem. Yeah, we got there. Sure.
And Rabbi, also, we need to say that when you take something for the mikveh, because every time I'm talking
Oh,
to
Tefillah is killing me. That's a very good question. That's a big
and
topic.
also my friend tells me, and I don't know.
Okay, B'ezrat Hashem. Yeah, we'll learn that also. Yeah. So this is a very, very high level that you don't have too many people holding by there, and not always is it done healthy. Somebody, I'll give you a mashal. It's a real good example of people doing it wrong. On Rosh Hashanah, there's a minhag, there's a custom not to talk. The whole 48 hours of Rosh Hashanah, because it's Binyan HaMalchus, there's big things going on in Shemayim. So some people, sorry? You say Tehillim. Instead of talking, you say Tehillim. This is a lot of people are careful. And you can have two people doing it completely different ways. You can have one person who's completely quiet, but they make sure everyone knows that they're quiet. Right? They make sure everyone knows that, you know, they're doing this special thing. even though they're not saying words, but they've already spoken a million things that they really missed the point. So even though, technically they didn't say any words, but they really missed the point. And then you have other people that are quiet, but if they really need, they'll say something because they don't take it to a self-centered extreme way. They do it because this is the minute. Exactly. They do it because this is what's supposed to be done, and they don't do it because they want to show off that, oh, look what I'm doing. So, if somebody tries to take Sif Hey, Halacha Hey, the fifth halacha, to take it to practice, it's not always the healthiest thing to do. Because there's society that we live in, people talk. And if you're gonna it's missing the boat. It's missing the point completely. It's not the point over here. The point is a whole different thing that you're trying to accomplish. So it's not something which is so practical for most people. Vav, the sixth halacha, somebody should not be a clown. They shouldn't just be sitting around in a corner making jokes the whole day. Like and the other extreme also you can't take. What's that? You can't be depressed. You can't cry about everything in life. You can't look at everything as, oh, this is the end of the world. Rather, what's the proper thing? Ella sameach. A person should be happy. This is what the Chachamim said. Schaik v'kalas reish. Clowning around and kalas reish, lightheadedness, magiliness, adam la'erva. They bring a person to immoral things. And the same thing is a person shouldn't be greedy. They should have a good eye. They shouldn't overwork. This is all things that we mentioned in Sif Aleph in the first halacha. And whatever they have, you should be happy with what you have physically. This is what the Chachamim said. Hakina v'taiva v'kavid. Envy, jealousy, taiva, desire, kavid, and the want for honor. They remove a person from the world. And a person has to remove themselves from these things. Okay? Let's see if we can get this halacha in. Zayin, the seventh halacha. Shama yemer ha'adam, maybe a person can say, one second. Kina, which is jealousy, taiva, desires, kaved, the want for honor. These are terrible things that remove a person from the world. So maybe a person is going to think to themselves, I should completely distance myself from these things. You should move to the complete other side. Actually, until a person is going to stop eating meat, they shouldn't drink wine. They should not get married. They should have a nice dwelling place, a house, an apartment. They shouldn't wear nice clothing. They should put literally a sack. This is also a bad way. And a person is forbidden to go on such a path. Somebody who takes the complete opposite extreme is also doing an avera, is also sinning. Because by nazir, which is a mitzvah, somebody abstains from wine and becomes a nazir, they still need to atone for the fact that they became a nazir, because it's not the normal thing to do.
But there was some tzaddikim that didn't like that.
Some tzaddikim are for their level. For most people, this is not the proper derech. For a tzaddik who's truly holding by such a level that they don't want to derive any benefit from this physical world, that's one thing. But for a person who's not holding on that level, to drive themselves crazy, to live like that's not healthy. It's not a normal thing to do. The sages of last memory said, just like, what do we say by a nazir, which only separated from wine? The Torah says he needs atonement. Somebody withholds from themselves from everything. How much more so do they need atonement? Because it's not the proper way.
What does it mean? Nazir shelo kapara?
A nazir, which is a mitzvah, but even a nazir needs kapara. Because the Torah said you're allowed to drink wine. You went ahead and took away from yourself what the Torah allowed for you. That's not the best thing to do, even though it's a mitzvah. So if somebody who doesn't even have a mitzvah and they take away from themselves good clothing, good living quarters, food, how much more so does such a person need a kapara, an atonement, because they're not even doing a mitzvah. And they're taking things away from themselves, which the Torah said you're allowed to have. Yeah. So a nazir, somebody who became a nazir, the whole halacha. Oh, okay. So let's finish and we'll see. So oh, now we're talking practical. The Chachamim tell us it's enough to abstain from the things which the Torah said no. Whatever the Torah said is asur, this is enough for us. Halavai, we should keep that. And you should not forbid for yourself by taking vows or swearing to take away things which are really permitted. This is what the Chachamim said. It's not enough for you. Well, the Torah already forbade. You know, there's so many mitzvahs. It's not enough that you have to keep all the mitzvahs. But you also want to forbid on yourself things which are permitted. It's not a good thing. And the Chachamim forbade one from starving themselves, afflicting themselves. This is all not allowed. On all of these things and anything similar, said, don't make yourself too righteous. In short, we have to keep what the Torah forbade, what the Torah allowed. Adding on to these things, it's enough the mitzvahs of the Torah. To go ahead and make yourself extreme. No, this is also, this is also, this is also. This is not a healthy thing to do. Mitzvah Hashem will continue tomorrow.
Thank you.